Welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Yahudah radio show live, coming from Warsaw, Poland. That's right. You guys heard me. I am in the studio here in my beautiful Warsaw, Poland. It is 5 o'clock or maybe 5:01, and it's nice outside. It's cool. It's beautiful in beautiful Poland. And again, welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a special show today. But before we get started, I first want to give all praises to my Creator. I give all praises and honor and esteem to the Most High Yahuah. Yah is the Creator of the heavens, the earth, the seas, and all that is within them. There is Yahuah alone created. So I give reverence and thanks to my Creator, Yah, for this special time and this space and this place right here again in Warsaw, Poland. And as usual, I must add that my daughter and I are covenant keepers of Yahweh, which means there's a certain way that we live and we do not live anymore. So I must get that out and let it be known. So praise Yah. So I have a very special guest today. Yes, I do. I have my brethren from America, born and raised in the United States of America, who is now in beautiful Liberia. And we're going to have a great conversation with Brother Yahoshua ben Israel. But before we do all of that again, I need to give a love dedication to my children, my son and my daughters in America, to Joshua, Kirsten, and Christian, and to my 9 and almost 10 grandchildren. That's right. I'm a grandma. Yes, that's me. And to my parents, my siblings, and to my family online. I love you all and welcome, welcome. And I pray that you all have much shalom, much peace. Okay. So once again, we're going to talk to Brother Yahoshua ben Israel from over in Liberia, and he's very close to me and dear. I call him my little big brother, okay? So Olivia and I are out of America 5 years now, and this brother right here, Yahoshua, and his wife and children were the ones he saw us off to the airport over and over again. We tried numerous times during the COVID. We do not take COVID shots, let me say that, but we did need to swab during 2021 before boarding the airplane. So Brother Yahoshua and I will go, and Olivia, back and forth, and the children to the airport. And no, the paperwork wasn't back, or this, both paperworks must be in at the same time in order to get on the airplane. So the last time we missed the airplane because we got there too late when the paperwork did come. So I was frustrated. And Brother Yahoshua ben Israel, he was the one who saw about us, his wife, his children. So we're going to talk to him live from Liberia. But before we do that, I want to see, can I play this? He sent me this beautiful song that he recorded and he asked to play. And let's see if this works, okay? And if not, we're just going to call Brother Yahoshua ben Israel in a second. So let me play his song. It's called No Fear. Let's see if it works here. There it is.
Time we rise, no compromising. 180 on sinning is forbidden. Pray for forgiveness, it's repentance. No fear, cause Yah is with us. Give us the wisdom, break down the system. Give us a mission with the vision. We did out inside a prison. Your words are living. As it was is as it is. Follow the script as it was written. The pen possessed by every lyric. God our spirit. Lift your name on high while I be spitting. No fear resides with us. No fear resides with us.
Praise Yah. All praises to Yah. That was beautiful. Brother Yahoshua ben Israel. Okay, we're going to see, can we connect with our brethren and get him on the line and see if he's around. Let's see. Shalom. Praise Yah. Brother Yahoshua, are you there? Can you hear me? Praise Yah, Brother
Shalom.
Yahoshua. There you are. How are you?
Praise Yah. Praise Yah. All is well.
Praise Yah. Yes, we have you there. And we just played that beautiful song. Let me run that again. Get your breath, bro.
All right.
Sign we rising, no compromising. 180 your sinning is forbidden. Pray for forgiveness, it's repentance. No fear cause Yah is with us. Give us the wisdom, break down the system. Give us a mission with a vision. We did trapped inside a prison. Your words are living, as it was is as it is. Follow the script as it was written. The pen possessed by every lyric. God our spirit, lift your name on high while I be spitting. No fear cause Yah is with us. No fear cause Yah is with us.
All right. Praise Yah. No fear because Yah is with us. Is that the name of this song?
Yes, indeed.
Praise.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Welcome, brother. My little big brother, Yahoshua, over in Liberia. How are you over there? Do you have anything to say to the family before we get started here?
All is well, family. I pray everyone out there is blessed and having a wonderful day, week, month, whenever you hear this video. Before we get started, I just wanted to put out some information. We have a missing elder out there in Ghana. We put forth some information on Facebook. So if anybody knows anything, please get in contact with me. My name on Facebook is Yahoshua ben Israel. Yahoshua ben with a Y, Yisrael. If anyone has any information, please come forward.
How long has he been missing? Can you give us his name, please?
Yes, this is Elder Moshe. Also, his government name is Alvin Moses Jones. He's been missing, from our understanding, for about 2 months, about the beginning of June. We haven't heard from him, and the people that invited him to Ghana, they have conflicting stories, so there could be foul play involved. But if anybody knows anything, please let us know. Please contact me on Facebook.
Yes, so reach out, family, if you hear anything, if you know anything about our elder from America who went to Ghana, correct, in search of a life, land, settling down, and he hasn't been heard from since. Okay.
Correct.
So we will keep him in our prayers. If you have any information, please reach out to Brother Yahoshua ben Israel, or you can reach me on Facebook or social media as well. So let's keep him in our prayers, family, okay?
Indeed.
Okay, so I'm looking forward to talking to you here, and the title I named this here show is From America to Africa, A Journey of Faith, Family, and Purpose. Brother Yahoshua ben Israel. So I want our conversation just to talk about the journey from America. You were the one who aided Olivia and I to the airport a couple of times. You and your beautiful wife, your former wife, your family, the children, and that's where we met, and we'll just take it from there. Yeah.
Okay.
So once again, I praise the mighty Yah for using you. You were very kind, very humble soul. You made us feel very welcome, just like our blood family, just like family's supposed to be. My daughter felt safe, good, with the children, your wife, beautiful former wife. Everything was just all right. I was just angry because I wanted to get into Egypt back in February, and we kept going back and forth to the airport, and y'all wouldn't release us until when y'all released us. So we could take it from there.
Okay.
So,
first and foremost, before we get started, we just want to give praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yah, the strength and power of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I want to say shalom aleichem to the family out there.
Yes.
I pray that everybody receives this message for health and peace.
So take us back to America, Brother Yahoshua. Who were you then, and what what began moving you toward eventually leaving America?
So, well, I would first have to take you all the way back to my childhood. I believe this journey actually began long before I understood what was happening. As a child, I always felt a deep love and connection to what I understood at that time as God the Father. I was brought up and grew up in a Baptist Christian household. My aunt's name was Bernice. Mm-hmm. She was very instrumental in me going to church and going, singing in the choir. She took me and my cousins to church every Sunday. I called her Auntie Bibi. So from a very young age, I developed a genuine love for the Most High. But, there was always something inside of me that kind of questioned what I was being taught. Fully never understood this character they called Jesus. Something about that New Testament never seemed right to me, but in church, that's primarily, what they teach. Right. So what I did was at an early age, I started to read the scriptures on my own. And whenever I would read like the Old Testament, when I read about how the God of our fathers delivered, the Israelites from captivity in Egypt through Moses, how God the Father used Joseph. Mm-hmm. Joshua. Mm-hmm. Joshua to bring us out, into the promised land, and how David, was described as a man after God's own heart. It did something to me. It would like send chills down my spine. These stories really inspired me, and they made me want to live righteously. And even as a child, I had this deep desire to live according to God's way rather than, the ways of the world. And, I was different, from a lot of children around me. I really never fit in. A lot of people would say that I had an old soul. But as I got older, that passion and desire, to live righteously, it just didn't disappear. It actually, became stronger. So fast forward to when I was around 22 years old, I took my former wife and our 2 children from Buffalo, New York, and we moved to the Washington, D.C. area, the DMV as they call it. Specifically, we lived in Northern Virginia. And it was during this period in my life when I separated and isolated myself from much of my family. I was basically alone with, a wife and 2 children at that time. And that's something, and during that time, something happened that completely changed the direction of my life. Yah began to show me who he was. And more importantly, he began to show me who I was. And Yah began opening up my eyes to many different things I had never understood before. Yah showed me why, no matter how hard our people seem to work, we could never seem to get ahead. We could never seem to get it together. Why it often felt like we had to sacrifice everything just to receive a crumb. He showed me the divisions among our people, why, we struggled to unify, and how systems have been created and used systematically to oppress us also. Now, looking at this in January 2011, so then in January 2011, Yah revealed something to me that completely changed my entire understanding of history, scripture, and even my own identity. He showed me that we, as the so-called African Americans, are the children of Israel, the lost nation of Israel that Yah scattered to the 4 corners of the earth. That revelation changed my life completely. Yah also showed me that this Jesus was an idol, that we were not to worship this idol, and that we needed to remove ourselves from idolatry and Christianity.
Yes.
And that was the beginning of a completely different journey for me. Yah put it in my spirit, actually, to change my name, to legally take on an Israelite name. So a few years later, I decided to actually change my name legally, as it states in Isaiah 44 verses 5. But the story, it didn't stop just then. In 2011, Yah gave me a dream and a vision. And, I tried to explain this to people and, they probably thought I was crazy. But in that dream and vision, I saw a sequence of events that transpired. And at that time, I fully didn't understand it. You know, I saw myself in Jerusalem bowing and praying before Mount Zion. And at that point, I didn't even understand what that dream meant or how it would connect to my future. But fast forward to 2018 and 2019, I actually traveled to the land of Israel. When I look back now, I kind of see that many of these things Yah showed me were already beginning to come to pass. Some of them are still unfolding to this day. So when you say how I ultimately came to leave America, you know, I would say that it wasn't simply a decision I made. Yah inspired me to leave. Yah made America increasingly uncomfortable for me while I was there. Yah began changing my perspective. You know, Yah was changing my desires and changing the direction of my life. And eventually in April 2024, Yah put me out of America. So when I look back over my life, from that little boy sitting in church with my auntie Bibi, you know, to the questions I carried as a child, to the isolation I experienced as a young man, you know, the revelations I received in 2011 was very impactful and very, very powerful.
Very
you know,
deep.
to the dream I had yeah, that dream I had about Jerusalem, to actually travel there to the land in 2018, and then finally leaving America, you know, it wasn't just random.
So tell
I
me,
see, you know,
I didn't mean to cut you off there, but during that time, you said that was when did you visit? 2018?
yeah, 2018.
2018.
Yes.
So you had the vision before you actually went, or you went, then you had to, would you say that again? You went first?
Yes. So Yah gave me a vision in 2011, actually in January 2011.
2011.
Yes. So after I had the vision in 2011, 7 years later, I see myself on a plane going to Israel for the first time by myself. Yeah.
And what was that like? Like when you landed there, what was that feeling? Because I've spoken to Sister Sonia. She's over there right now, and she's just like the peace. Like she just can't even describe it. So what was that moment like for you when you landed, when you actually got off that airplane? What did you see? Can you describe that to me? Because I've never been there. The only as far as I've been is to Jordan, to the port, and back into Egypt. So what was that moment like?
That feeling you get when you get off the plane and you enter into the land of Israel is a feeling I can't even explain.
Wow.
That feeling is, you feel a spiritual connection. You feel like your soul desires this land. Your soul, your feet on this soil is supposed to be here. You know, I felt like I was at home. I had peace. While I was there for that time frame, I could enjoy some peace of mind. I've never experienced that before living in America. So traveling by myself on the plane and getting in the land, I felt a very deep spiritual connection.
And that's amazing because y'all had already prepared you back in 2011, and now you walk through it in 2018. That's amazing. Wow. Okay.
Yes.
And during your time there, how long did you stay? How long were you there? Did you visit any other areas over in that area?
So yeah, the first time I visited twice. First time I visited in 2018, I was there for around a month and a half, and I visited Arad, Tel Arad, Dimona. The second visit, I visited Dimona, Tel Arad, Jerusalem, and a few other places like Beersheba. Just traveling along those roads in the land. Oh man, you could experience the scriptures firsthand.
Wow.
I'm telling you, it's nothing like seeing, you know, Mount Zion before you, and seeing that wall that was built around, you know, Jerusalem, and it's just an experience that our people have to feel and experience for themselves.
And will you possibly be taking a trip back there in the near future?
So in the near future, I see a journey to reestablish the kingdom of Yah on earth and to rebuild the third and last temple in Jerusalem. So I believe that Yah is and has and is guiding me every step of the way to return back. That's the next step in the plan, is to return back into the land. When we return back into the land, there's a lot of prophecies that have to be fulfilled. So Yah is in process of fulfilling these prophecies as is spoken in, the books of the prophet. So we're just waiting out our time until these things are completed.
That's right. Praise Yah. Mm-hmm.
Praise Yah.
Well said. So let's talk about, let's see here. When did you begin to feel that, you said that you went from America to South Sinai. Is that correct? America to Sinai in 24. So when did you begin to feel that Yahuwah was directing your steps outside of America? Was that during that time? Time to go? Because we left in 2021 and then you left in 2024.
Yes. Interesting question. Good question. So I began feeling like Yah was directing my steps to leave America. I say around 2018, even before I ever left to visit the land. Me and my brother Dawid, we had a conversation after an event that took place. This event gave us a sense of confirmation almost that eventually we have to return to the land. We have to leave America. So what I decided was to take the first step. That's when I traveled to the land just to visit, just to see how it is, kind of scope out, everything. And, I did that in 2018, 2019. So while I was there, I had the opportunity to meet with several elders and leaders, both in Dimona and Arad. Those experiences was extremely, meaningful to me, because I wasn't just, like visiting, the place, but I was actually beginning to establish relationships, with people and understand what it meant to actually, return back to the land. So, so I was just waiting for Yah to give me the go ahead. I knew where I believed I was eventually supposed to go. But I knew that the desire to leave America had been placed in my spirit, for sure. But also understood that there was a difference between knowing where, you're supposed to go and knowing when you're supposed to go. So I just waited, and I continued, just watching and praying and preparing myself for, that 2024 exit.
So I've lived in South Sinai, Dahab, Sharm el-Sheikh, and I know according to Deuteronomy 1:1, it speaks of Dahaz, which is Dahab, and that's a place where Moshe and the children of Israel were up in that area. And the energy there for me was amazing. I mean, so I want to know, because you've had the experience further up into Jerusalem, and we've only made it as far as just to that wilderness. I guess you would call it. Would that be considered the wilderness? Is that the wilderness that Yah speaks of? From
my understanding, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I want you to explain that.
From my understanding, Ezekiel 20, where it talks about the wilderness for Zion, for the descendants of Zion, that area in the Sinai is the wilderness place for the descendants of Zion. Now, there's other movements that have came about, and they've had their wilderness stage. We've all had stages in this. But for Zion, I believe that Ezekiel 20 is talking about that place for us.
So would you recommend those coming out of America to return to South Sinai, to visit, because people say, and they've said it to me all the time, we don't have anywhere to go. We need to stay in America. There's nowhere to go. And I get so sick of hearing it, because you need to put your trust in Yah. So where would you recommend South Sinai, Dahab to others?
Absolutely. I would absolutely recommend South Sinai, because it's first, you can get a visa on arrival. It's very, accessible. You could just purchase your ticket and arrive there, and they'll give you a month visa, a visitor visa, and you can go, when your visitor visa is running out, to reapply for a residency visa, which they'll give you 1 year to stay there. And then after that, you could travel back and forth in and out the land and just, continue the process. It's a way easier process with leaving America going into the Sinai than it may be in other countries where you might have to get a visa before leaving America. Mm-hmm. So I believe that the process is a lot easier going into Egypt. And also the tickets are cheaper from what I've been seeing going into that region from America. So yes, I would most definitely recommend. Now, when you get there, you can, experience it for yourself. If you don't like it, then, you could maybe figure out another place to go. But I do recommend just checking it out,
right?
See how it is.
And what would you say to those people who want to come and check it out as far as their behavior, culture shock, what to look forward to when you land? Could you give them a little, just a little quick little conversation about the behavior, what to expect when you land in Egypt? When you go catch the bus, we call it the go bus from Sharm el-Sheikh down into Dahab. Mm-hmm. We stayed in Sharm a week, and then what would you say to those coming out of America who has never left America? The behavior, what to expect? What would you say to that person?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely. What I would say is understand that, you're entering into a mostly Islamic country. Mm-hmm. So they have different rules and regulations that's different from America. So, truthfully, the whole purpose of you going into the wilderness is to heal.
Yeah.
Take that time for yourself. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Forget about anybody else.
Well said.
You know what I mean? Just take that time to relax because it's beautiful. I'm telling you that when you reach there, the mountains, the beaches, the Red Sea, I'm telling you, you don't want to leave.
You really don't want to leave. Olivia still has dreams.
Yeah. I mean, so if you, do decide to go there, I would say you might get bored or something because, it's really not a whole lot to do, but, you can find entertainment for yourself.
It's the peace. It's the peace that we need. It's the healing.
Absolutely.
You need that. It's that Red Sea. You can just get in it and cleanse and talk to your Creator. Absolutely. And just 2 years we did. Amazing.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's beautiful when you have the opportunity to just walk 15 minutes up the road to the beach and watch the sunrise in the morning. Watch the sunset in the evening. It's where the sky is clear.
Yes.
The stars and the moon pop out and it's brighter than you've ever seen before. You don't have these cloudy, skies or, them putting chemicals in the air, clouding up things. It's clear skies.
Yes.
It's beautiful there.
Yes.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
Yes. And would you say that renting is expensive in South Sinai? Because they're like, oh, I need thousands of dollars to leave America. I need all of this money. Tell them, what do you say? Say to that.
No, not at all. It's very, very affordable. Where I was living, I lived in two places in Dahab, Argamaya. The first place, it was about $180 $1 bedroom. The second place, 1 bedroom, it was a little bit more. It was like $210. But coming from America, that's a steal. Also, electric is prepaid. You probably spend like $20 a month.
Yes.
If you don't use your.
Yes. No, I was just thinking about that card that we used to have over at our apartment. Yeah. We had a card, and you would go to the store, you put $20 on it, $10. Hey, if you need to put $3 until you get paid, you put it in that electric meter, and your lights are on. You don't have someone banging at your door in America. Hey, I need my money for the light bill, and it's $2,000, and you're going to turn off these lights. You don't have that over there.
Right.
Beautiful.
Right. Yeah. It's peace, it's a lifestyle that you don't experience coming from America.
Yes.
So I would say, adjust to the, like I said, it's an Islamic country. So, you have to kind of just be aware and move wisely, Yeah.
And to the sisters, when you go down there, you must be covered. You should be covered up. You should be covered up anyway. Just cover yourself and be on your best behavior and be mindful that you're not in America. You're outside of America, and you come to get peace, and you come to rest and be respectful to the country, to the people. Show respect. Because they're not out there fighting each other and beating people up. You're not going to see that. Am I correct?
You're absolutely correct.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what eventually led you from Sinai to Nigeria? I don't know anything really about living in Nigeria. Can you tell us a little bit of that? What was the transition like and your experience in Nigeria? What did that teach you over there? What's it like?
Yeah. So I was invited to Nigeria by my family. Her name is Raya, her husband, and my godson, Kingdom. She had moved from America a few years earlier, and her husband is Nigerian. So I decided to visit them and ended up spending about 2 months there. So while I was in Nigeria, my current wife, Hananiah, she flew in from Liberia, and we were finally able to meet face to face there. So the transition from Sinai to Nigeria, it was okay. It was good. I was coming from a predominantly Arab country and suddenly found myself in predominantly Black African country. You know what I mean? So that was a major culture transition. And I'm gonna be honest, I felt a little bit more at home. Something about being around the people, the culture, the environment, and the overall atmosphere, it created a connection with me. I felt a connection to the people of West Africa. I remember thinking to myself, if I could, take the people here and bring them to the mountains and the beaches of the wilderness of Sinai, I think that'd be a good thing, But I truly love my time in Nigeria. While I was there, I also had the opportunity to see and experience things that connected with my understanding of African history. I was able to see Bantu communities and learn more about the migrations of African people across West and South Africa. I know people have different opinions about African history, and the origins and migrations, but I respect people, how they look at things. But I'm speaking from my own experience and personally spending time in West Africa and interacting with the people. I felt the connection that was different, way different from being in the Sinai. To me, being in West Africa felt like being around an extension of Black African Americans. They spoke a different language, but it made me look at our history, our culture, and our identity from a completely different perspective. So the experience in Nigeria, it opened my eyes to another chapter in this journey, one that would eventually lead me into understanding, Africa and the nation of Israel and where I believe we are going, as a people.
Nigeria. Interesting. Okay. So what would you say to someone who says, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and go to Nigeria and I want to go, and they're excited to go. You will welcome them to Nigeria. And where would you recommend as far as housing, doing your research? What do you need to know once preparing yourself to live in Nigeria? What would you tell that person?
So Nigeria is different from going into Sinai. What I recommend is do your research. Most definitely. Know some people there.
Okay, very important.
Very, very important. Remember, those curses is heavy. Even in America, we can't even trust our own people. So What makes it different from being in Africa? They're still under the same curses. So don't just think that somebody say, they got this or that, or they're going to help you with this. Nah. Right. Know that person, have intimate, relationship with them. Bring somebody with you. Don't go by yourself. Don't move by yourself in certain parts of Africa. Just like being in the hood, you can't move by yourself. You gotta, be wise. So I say be wise and you're moving, if you're moving to those parts of Africa.
Well said. Be wise. Move with your creator. right?
Yes, indeed.
Seek
Indeed.
Yah, get his permission, lean not on your understanding, okay? And the mighty Yah will direct you. I mean, for me, he wasn't directed
Absolutely.
me there because it's just Olivia and I. So the countries we lived in were maybe not the countries that someone else lived in. So everyone has their own journey, okay? And we're going to meet up in the end someday, somehow, praise Yah. So now you are in Liberia with your new wife. Okay, can you tell us about the history of Liberia, what's life like in Liberia, and how long have you been there?
Yeah, so I've been here now going on a year. So Liberia has one of the most interesting, unique connections to so-called Black American history. It represents a connection between our people in America and Africa. Since being here, I've learned a lot of history of Liberia about how formerly enslaved and freed African Americans came to Liberia in the mid 1800s and established Liberia. And it was 1847. Liberia declared its independence and became Africa's first independent republic. I learned about the Americo-Liberian community. So when our ancestors came back from America into Liberia, they called them Americo-Liberians. And it's very deeply connected with our slave history within the United States. So living here, has definitely changed the way I look at our history. Being in Liberia, it's allowed me to see Africa with a different set of eyes rather than only looking through the history I was taught in America. It made me realize that our story doesn't end with slavery. You know what I'm saying? We really had a group of people that left to return to look for freedom. So for me, Liberia is a connection for real.
Okay, so in the 1800s, those were African American slaves who they just left and went back to Liberia. How did they during that time? What's the history about that? How did that work?
Good question. So it was about 20 to 30,000 African American slaves that returned within a certain time frame in the mid 1800s. So when they freed the slaves, the slave owners, they didn't want there to be an uprising. So they said that, well, I will give you opportunity to go back to Africa and establish yourself there. So a group of people left and like I said, the mid 1800s and came into Liberia and also in parts of Sierra Leone. But Liberia, most definitely, they established Liberia as a country, as a republic, the first republic of Africa. And this was done by freed African American slaves.
Okay. So freed Africa. Okay, so in Liberia, there's do I say an African American community or Liberian African American? Like, what is it? Tell me about it a little more in depth, please.
Yeah, so when they came over here, they called them Americo-Liberians.
Americo-Liberians.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Americo-Liberians. Yeah, and a lot of the tribes that were here felt that they were oppressing them, kind of, because they bring the same systems of America. They bring the secret societies like the Masons. They have a whole the Mason buildings, the temples. Yeah, here in Liberia, they bring all of that mess into Liberia and established Liberia with the same governance system as America, and the tribes that were here started to feel like they were being oppressed, just like we were oppressed there. They did the same thing here over in Africa to the tribes. So, yeah, it caused a big rift for a couple hundred years, and eventually they rose up, and one of the army commanders, I forgot what position he held, but his name was Samuel Doe, and he held the coup, and he shot the president, assassinated William Tolbert, And from there, that's when the local people felt that they had, control back over their, of their land or whatever. But that was long lived. A guy by the name of Charles Taylor, whose father was an Americo-Liberian, started a rebel faction, and they basically took over again and captured Doe and assassinated him. And that caused a 14-year civil war in Liberia. Very bloody, very ugly.
Wow.
Civil war. Yeah, where children, they were fighters. And there's a movie. It's the Beast of No Nation. That movie it talks about the civil war of Liberia. Very ugly war. Like I said, children, like young children were soldiers in this army. And Charles Taylor took back over, and ever since then, Liberia has been trying to, rebound from that, and it's opened up some doors, for investors, for people to come and invest into Liberia. So, there is a positive that came from that, but yeah, the people here are affected. I've met a few people that actually fought in that war. They're around the same age as me. So yeah.
Okay. So what would you say to someone who says, well, I think I'm going to go to Liberia. So what kind of connections do we have over there? What do we look for to when we land in Liberia? What's housing like, the community? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So we do have Hebrew community here. The Hebrew community that's here is actually connected to the KOY. That's from, that's in Dimona, Israel. And they've been here since, I believe, 1966 or 1965. But there is a Hebrew community here. And also, I'm here, and I'm establishing a Yah only community here, So there are connections here if you are looking to come into Liberia. And if you want any information with coming here, I most definitely will be happy to, give anybody information to come over here to Liberia.
Mm-hmm. So someone may say, well, I don't know about this Liberia. Maybe infrastructure it may not be well built. What would you tell them about that? Because, our daughters are best friends, and when Olivia, even on my show, she was like, when we landed in Egypt, before we landed, I thought we were going to be in the middle of a desert with only camels, is what I pictured us landing in Egypt. So what do you say to someone who's picturing Liberia or even Nigeria as some rundown place? The propaganda goes out a lot against us in our communities, and there are some beautiful communities all over Africa.
Yeah. Same here in Liberia. There's some very beautiful communities.
Sorry about that. Some very beautiful communities.
Yeah, very beautiful communities, apartments, hotels. Yeah, I mean, they bring the same life of America here into Africa. So you have, the city of Monrovia. It has like a beach resort. It has nice places, but then it has also, dirt roads. So it's a mixture of both. I would say too, like depending on your lifestyle, if you want to live in the tourist spot, the rent is probably going to run you a few $100s. But if you want to come to like the suburban areas where I'm currently living, the rent is way cheaper. It ranges from $50 to $150 per month, depending on how big you want your house. Yeah.
Okay.
So and they pay per year, so you would pay either 6 months or a year. So for a $50 apartment for a year, it's like $600.
Oh, wow.
For 6 months, it's $300. So you pay for the whole year, and after that, all you have to do is worry about your food. Your prepaid lighting, so yeah, it has its pros and cons, but overall there is a community here. that's willing to help.
Okay, a community that's very important, that's willing to help. So someone may think, they must have a lot of crime over there in Liberia. It must be a lot of fighting, because he said something like, they brought some of that American ways over there. So, what would you tell that person that's thinking, oh, I'm not going over there. They over there, it's criminals and the negativity. What would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, no matter where you go, you're going to get your, good or bad, there's going to be some level of crime, but compared to America, the level of crime is way less.
Yes.
Yeah. The only reason why there was a civil war is because of the government factions fighting with each other. But the people themselves, they're very good, nice people, very welcoming. I haven't had any problems with, any people, being here. They speak to you. For the most part, the people, are pretty welcoming, and they invite tourists. They love bringing people here. I'm not sure if you've seen, but Donald Trump and the president of Liberia has a deal. They're bringing 1,200 deportees into Liberia from America. And, the Liberian people are welcoming them into, the Liberian society. So, compared to America, I would choose Liberia any day.
Okay, since you were in Nigeria, now you're in Liberia. So what's the contrast between Nigeria and Liberia, or is it the same? Like, what's the difference here with those two?
Well, they have things that are the same, and they have things that are different. The overall western part of Africa, the culture, like the markets, are the same. The style of housing is the same. But the people is the difference. I say there's more warm, caring people, hearted people in Liberia.
Okay.
I'm not saying that Nigeria is just a terrible place. It's not, but
right.
I find more welcoming people here in Liberia. I found good people in Nigeria too, but overall, since I've been here in Liberia, it's been a great experience.
Okay. Well said. Okay, so you've been out of America now since 2024. And you're in Liberia. Do you have any other travel plans, you and your wife? Are you back to Sinai maybe, or you said anywhere else?
The next destination will be back to the Sinai Peninsula, into the wilderness. So y'all can, develop us into what he has for us on the next part of our journey. And when y'all puts it in my spirit and my heart, then we'll make our journey there. After the time being that Yah brings us out from the Sinai, we will eventually enter back into the land of Jerusalem.
Okay, what would you say to someone who says they're bringing all of this money and they want to put it into South Sinai and build up this and build up that? Do you recommend that to people that are coming out of America to come out into Sinai and build up and give their money to the Islamic country, or what do you say about that?
I would say save your money, keep it in your pocket, use that for food, shelter, and other things.
Yes.
That's not our mission. Our
Right.
mission is to heal from this trauma that we've been through for over 400-something years being in America.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Save your money.
Okay, and when you say trauma, can you, because a lot of people don't understand our plight. So what would you say, what trauma as a whole has people of color or Israelites or Black Americans, what have they gone through in America that they need to heal from, going into this wilderness, going into this Sinai, going into this place of peace? What are we healing from? Somebody might not even know over there.
Since we've entered into the land of Babylon, daughter of Babylon, aka America, we have been lynched. We have been hung. We have been burnt. We have been eaten like we are a plate of food. Like they treat us like nothing. Like we're not even the dirt off of their shoes. My great grandmother came from a plantation. She was brought up on a slave plantation. She used to tell me the stories of how the slave owners and the masters would come in their rooms and beat them and whip them. You know, we come from a people that would have to give everything they have just to get a little. You know, work all day just to get a little.
Right.
You know, that trauma has affected us over the years, and even to this day, we're still getting hung. We're still being harassed by police, killed by police. That ain't nothing changed. It's still the same. That racism still exists in America. So if anybody say, "Oh, it's peaches and cream in America," it ain't been peaches and cream for us. It's been hell. That's been our hell on earth.
Praise Yah. I tell them all the time, brother.
So that's what we need to heal from. We need to come up out of there and heal and connect back to our divine power, our strength, Yah of hosts.
Yes. All praises to Yah. I agree 100. And that's what it's done, because you can find your purpose outside of America, right? You don't have to be afraid. Find your purpose.
Absolutely.
And you found your purpose, huh?
I've actually found my purpose on this journey. Yah has shown me what I'm put here to do. You know, and if I go aside from that, Yah ain't got nothing to do with me no more. I got to stay on this mission.
That's right.
I got to stay the course.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah. That's right. Well, it's 5:53, and this has been beautiful. And I just wanted to go back to our journey together. Back in, was it DC, Virginia, and we recorded music. My daughter loves your daughter, the children. We had a good time. So just tell the audience a little bit about our connection. We left Cincinnati, Ohio to go get Olivia's expedited passport. You picked us up, you and the family, and we've been rolling with you ever since 2020. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, when we finally met face to face, because we was talking before, you know, through Facebook and stuff. But, you know, honestly, like when we met, it didn't feel like we were meeting like strangers, you know, for the first time.
Yes, brother.
Yeah. Yes. It felt like we was meeting our long distance cousins or something, you know, like, you know, and Olivia and Destiny, they just clicked, and they were like sisters meeting for the first time, you know, like everything felt natural, you know. I remember spending time with the children and watching Olivia and all of my children play together, and, you know, driving back and forth to DC to check on you and spend time together with you. You know what I mean? Those were some very memorable moments, you know, especially in the studio. The studio, man, I love that. The children creating Yah only music together. Oh, man, I pray that, we could do that in the future, you know?
Okay, well, I'm about to go, and I have enjoyed this interview with you. And can I play this here for the children real quick? And this has been beautiful, Brother Yahoshua ben Israel. May the mighty Yah keep you and your family. And I'm going to play this. We recorded, Take Us Away from Babylon. I wrote this, and we all sang it, and we did a great job. Here we go. Bye-bye.
All right, peace. Y'all bless.
Y'all bless.
Take us away from Babylon. We don't want to be here anymore. Take us away from Babylon, so we can serve our Elohim.
For Israel has not been forsaken, nor Yahudah of his Elohim of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel.
Come on, mommy, let's go. Come on, mommy, let's go. Far away from Babylon. Far away from Babylon.
Come on, sister, let's go. Come on, sister, let's go. Far away from Babylon. Far away from Babylon. We come to praise the mighty Yah. the rivers of Babylon. Y'all moved us away from home. If I forget Jerusalem, let my mouth cleave to my tongue. My hands cease from work. It's time to exit from Babylon. You can hear it in the song.
Come on, Daddy, let's go. Come on, Daddy, let's go. Far away from Babylon. Far away from Babylon. Come on, sister, let's go. Come on, sister, let's go. Far away from Babylon. Far away from Babylon.
Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahuwah's vengeance. Take us away from Babylon. We don't want to be here anymore. Take us away from Babylon, so we can serve our Elohim, Yah. Brother Yahoshua, very beautiful interview, and those are his babies with my Olivia, and you know I had them in the studio, and it's all over the place, but it was beautiful. You hear his young children and Olivia, and praise Yah. Thank you for tuning in. Shalom.